Welcome, Faith Formation parents. As we begin a new school year, it is always important to review what is expected of all of us. So as I go through my presentation, I will start out broadly explaining our diocesan and parish view for faith formation and what that means and what that looks like. And then I'll go into the specifics of our parish program for this year. So, what's the big picture? Names are so important. They're important because they carry meaning. So often when parents call to inquire about registration, they seldom refer to our program by its name. Rather, they will use terms like CCD, religious ed, communion classes, church school, one of my favorites, religion classes, confirmation classes, Sunday school. While these are not wrong, they're incomplete. So let's not call it any of these anymore. We call it faith formation for a reason. Now, I'm not being nitpicky when I ask you to begin to develop the good habit of calling our parish program and our office faith formation. What we call things informs our attitude and view toward them. While these other names are part of faith formation, they're lacking something. So let's talk about what that is. So while faith formation is religious education, and it does include preparation for the sacraments, and they sometimes happen on Sundays, depending on which parish, faith formation really is a lifelong process. And this process always begins in the home, the domestic church. Your family, your household is its own little church. Parents, godparents, grandparents, you teach by word and by example. You are the first and most important witnesses of the faith to your children. What you do or don't do matters. This continues in a parish community setting with formal instruction, right? With faith formation classes. Instruction is important. With communal prayer, with our coming together as a community, as a family of faith in Jesus Christ at Sunday Mass. And in the practice and participation in the sacramental life of the church Christ left us. This includes the sacrament of reconciliation. And all the sacraments. All right, so what is the goal of faith formation? So the goal is not First Communion or confirmation. Don't get me wrong, the sacraments are good. The sacraments are God's help to us. They are what nourish and sustain and maintain our relationship with Jesus Christ and his church. It's what sustains and maintains our relationship with each other. The goal of faith formation is discipleship. And this requires discipline and continual conversion. I like repeating consonants, so I think that's a good way to remember it. But this conversion is a change of heart. It implies a movement, right? A movement towards God, and it's an action. It's a movement towards the God who loves us. And it requires a choice. We have to choose God every single day. And this cannot be done without daily prayer, without the sacraments, especially the Eucharist and confession, and not without a desire to learn and grow in your faith. And this is so important, especially for you parents, because it's up to you to show your kids that you're not just Catholic on Sundays. Your faith should be deeply rooted in your identity, who you are all the time. It takes a lifetime of work, and the studying never ends. Take this opportunity this year to learn with your kids and to rediscover your faith. All right, so what does this mean here in our diocese? And in our parish. So the Faith Formation Program at St. Thomas the Apostle is an 8-year continuous education program. And it's not merely just a sacramental preparation program. So the Diocese of Brooklyn has an entire 8-year curriculum which we follow. And ideally, all public school students should be enrolled in faith formation classes beginning in the 1st grade all the way through 8th grade. Sometimes parents like to give their children a break from faith formation classes in between sacraments, and I think this is such a big mistake. Doing this shows the opposite of what we just learned about the life of discipleship. It tells them that the sacraments are a means to an end, and that end is disconnected from their identity as Christians. Let's face it, sometimes life gets in the way and we can fall away from the good habits that we have developed. Taking a break will set you and your child back spiritually. Take advantage that your church is here to help you and to help you support your child's formation. As Christians, we're not meant to be on this journey alone. Okay, so our plan for this year. This year, obviously very, very different than the models that we have used in the past. In the past, you would drop your children off at a designated time. They'd have class in a classroom with their catechists and their classmates, and you'd pick them up when it's over. This year, due to COVID, we are doing the entire program remotely. And so all our lessons, all the content, the catechesis will be available and done through a website called My Catholic Faith Delivered. Students will receive a login and they will have a lesson to complete each week. The lessons are completely guided. And really, for those of you who have older children, this is something that they might not even need your help with. Those with younger children might need help in the beginning just to log in. But all they have to be able to know how to do is click next. All lessons must be completed by the due date specified on their class calendar. So we're not going to be taking attendance the traditional way every single week, because we know, I know myself from experience in the past few weeks that because this year has been so crazy, some of us are a little behind, and I know that some weeks are busier than others. So while this is sort of like an independent study, doing it at their own pace, we'll help guide that pace so that they don't fall behind. So every student will have a class calendar, and those due dates will be listed there. Catechists will be available and will be monitoring their progress. A live session will be conducted via Zoom once a month, and attendance at these is required. Again, these will be posted on those class calendars and schedules. These live class sessions via Zoom will always be at least 30 minutes long, but not longer than 45 minutes. And any and all changes, of course, will be communicated via email. So just a quick note about My Catholic Faith Delivered. This website is Safe Environment compliant. That means that all communication is monitored and archived. Sometime next week, those that have paid their textbook fee will receive their login credentials via email. Please note that the catechist and I will be able to monitor student progress through these lessons. So we'll know how much time is spent on each lesson when they log on. A parent tutorial will also be linked on our Faith Formation website for reference. So the program requirements. As always, our program requirement is class and mass attendance. Now, this is going to look very different this year, of course. For class attendance, students are allowed to be absent 5 times maximum. Like in the past, if they're sick and you can provide a doctor's note, then those absences will be excused. So the way we're going to take attendance is that the weekly attendance will be marked at the due date for the unit, for each unit session, and each session represents 1 class or 1 week. And attendance will always be marked at every live session, which will take place once a month. Catechists are going to do their best to monitor these due dates and send out a reminder email when these are approaching through My Catholic Faith Delivered. For mass attendance, normally those of you who have had their children enrolled in past years know that Mass is the most important thing. The Eucharist is the most important thing in our lives and in our identity as Catholic Christians. So going to Mass on Sundays is important, and we do take attendance at Mass normally. We usually take attendance with the coupons that are punched in our bulletin. So the kids of our program would take their bulletin, go to Mass with their families, and after Mass, make a line at the break of church. And a catechist will punch their coupon, and that is proof that they attended Mass here at St. Thomas. Those that visit other parishes are to take a bulletin from that parish and have the celebrant, so the priest or the deacon, sign those bulletins, and they hand those bulletins in as proof that they were at Mass. Now, because times are different and we can't all go to Mass right now, and the obligation for the faithful has been suspended or relaxed, parents are encouraged to pray the Mass with their children, either by coming to church if they can, online, or on TV. So to continue, just to clarify about that Mass attendance policy, right? Under normal circumstances, outside of the reality of COVID, Catholic Christians must attend Mass every single Sunday or Saturday evening unless they are seriously sick. Making a choice not to attend when you could have is a serious sin. So for now, because of the coronavirus, the obligation to attend Mass has been suspended by the bishop. However, we still have to follow the 3rd commandment of God to keep the Lord's Day holy. And I've listed 3 different ways or 3 different ideas how we can do that. You can obviously come to Mass here at St. Thomas, and I'll talk to you about how you could do that in a little bit. But you can also watch Mass online or on TV. So we live stream our Sunday 9 a.m. Mass in English and 12:30 Mass in Spanish every single Sunday on our parish website, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel. For those of you parents who really want to build your domestic church at home and strengthen it, I encourage you to use a resource that we have online. You can have your own prayer service of the Word at home. Or as part of Sunday lunch or Sunday dinner, you guys can gather together as a family and read the daily readings, read the gospel for that Sunday, and have a discussion with your family about it. Pray on it. So for those of you who are interested in coming to Mass here at St. Thomas the Apostle, we have Mass at 9 a.m. in English, 11 a.m. in English, and 12:30 in Spanish. If you would like to attend in person, we encourage you to make a reservation. Reservations are actually required. We need to know who's at Mass for contact tracing purposes, but also it helps us keep track of how many people we're expecting on Sundays. As of right now, we're still only able to have 25% of the capacity we're allowed in church, which is about 100 people per Mass. So We usually have had between 1,500 to 1,700 people on a Sunday. Now, sadly, we're only able to have 300 on a Sunday. So those reservations are important, which would require you to plan ahead, right? To think about where you're going to be on Sunday, and if you can come, you would definitely call the parish office, or you can make your reservation online on our parish website. Those of you who haven't been back to church yet and are interested in all the safety measures that we're taking, please definitely visit our parish website and you can find our safety plan there. We take safety very seriously. If we don't feel safe, we're not free to worship. Okay, so part of your formation as a family is to develop the habit of being good stewards, supporting and taking care of your parish community. So faith formation and all parish programs are not free. But when we all contribute to the building of the kingdom of God here in Woodhaven, our burden gets lighter and we can expand our ministry. The reason we don't have a registration fee is because we see our faith formation efforts as the work of the entire parish, whether they have children in our program or not. We are all supposed to sacrifice by sharing our time, our talents, and especially our treasure. So we do this, by using our PAYG envelopes. PAYG is an acronym for pay as you go. This is just our way as a parish to try to raise givers and raise awareness on sacrificial giving. So those of you who have been here in the past, you recognize those as those green envelopes that you would pick up at the faith formation office. You can really use any envelope, right? And especially now, since we're not all able to be at Mass at once, you can send in your sacrifice through electronic giving, through your mobile banking app, or even just dropping off your donation. If you are dropping off donations at the parish office, I strongly urge you to put it in an envelope and mark it with your name and your contact information. That way we know that this comes from you. And I know that you're making an effort to show us that you want to develop that good habit of being good stewards, of supporting your parish, and you're teaching your kids about sacrifice. Please never place loose cash in the collection basket or leave loose cash in the parish office mail slot. If you leave loose cash, we'll never know that this comes from you, and we can't have given you the credit for that. Choosing not to use envelopes, choosing not to give to your parish will result in a bill at the end of this year. This year especially, we have had more expenses than normal and less people in church to support our mission. Please know that volunteers are not free. We have recently had to upgrade our internet to hold virtual meetings. We have had to purchase better hardware and software and training to support it. So we're doing our best to keep up with the changing circumstances of the world, and we're happy to adapt for the sake of the gospel. But we need you all to do your part. This is your church. You have to take ownership of it. So in our parent handbook, which is on our Faith Formation website, and sometimes in the bulletin, you can find information on sacrificial giving. A lot of people like to ask, how much should I give? And that really depends, right? A sacrifice is supposed to cost us something. So we're never just supposed to give Jesus and his church whatever's left over from breakfast or the change in our pockets. Sacrificial giving requires planning. With that in mind, one day soon, parents, in your inbox, you'll find an invitation from me. I am going to be holding a virtual faith sharing session, a Bible study on what the scriptures teach us about money, or what Jesus said about money. I hope that this will help us grow together as good stewards and really have an understanding for how we're supposed to look at money, right? As Catholic Christians, we are so seduced by the way the world wants us to look at it that we often forget that that's not really the truth. So as you can tell, a serious commitment is required. This isn't merely just for your kids to come get their sacraments and you can tick off the box that says, I'm a good Catholic parent, my kids got their sacraments, right? So for kids, the commitment that they need to make is that they need to complete all their online lessons and they need to participate in those Zoom meetings. They need to ask for help if they need it. They need to ask you, they need to ask their catechist, and they need to follow your good example. They should also develop a good prayer routine and stick to it. For parents, for you, this means that you're taking an interest in your child's faith formation. You're asking them questions. You want to know what they're learning. Maybe it means that you do these lessons with them. It also means that you make Sunday a priority by carving out time for prayer, living that third commandment, staying informed, checking your emails and the faith formation website for updates, by being present at all meetings, and by checking in periodically with the faith formation office just to make sure that things are on track. It also means that you're participating in the life of the parish. That includes being good stewards. That includes praying communally, whether it is uniting yourself in prayer in person at Mass, or whether it's uniting yourself spiritually at a live stream Mass, whether you are putting your envelope in that donation basket at church, or whether you're dropping off or sending an electronic check to the parish. That's what it means to be community. And by providing a good example for your kids. Communication. So all communication for faith formation will be done via email and the faith formation website. Phone calls really are not our thing. It would be impossible for me to make reminder phone calls and check-in phone calls to parents, to all parents of students. We have almost 200 kids in our faith formation program this year, a little less than we do most years, but that's still quite a considerable amount. The 200 or so kids in the Catholic school that, spiritually are also under my care and Father's care for the preparation of sacraments, and the adults in our parish that are also in faith formation programs. So it becomes difficult to make these phone calls all the time, which is why I'm counting on you to be diligent about keeping your personal calendars, about calling me to check in. Now, I told you everything you have to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do to keep your child and your children safe. So the parish of St. Thomas the Apostle complies with all safe environment mandates set forth by the Diocese of Brooklyn and by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. That means that all our employees and volunteers, anyone who comes in contact with children, they have completed a Virtus training session. They have signed a code of conduct and they have passed a background search. If you'd like more information or if you'd like to take this Virtus training session yourself, please visit www.virtus.org. In addition to all the faith formation classes that we have, once a year, all our students receive a yearly safety awareness training called Child Lures Prevention. This program is used to empower children and to keep themselves safe from all predators who might harm them. Usually this training takes place during class time. I break the kids up into groups by age, and I do it in the span of a few weeks. This year, however, because we're not able to meet in person, I will do them live, but I will do them virtually via Zoom. I don't have dates yet for this. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it effectively so that the kids are engaged and they get something out of it. But as soon as I have that information, I will communicate it via email. This will be in addition to and apart from their regular faith formation classes. Now, our high school students, everything we have discussed previous to this mostly applies to students in our faith formation program from grades 1 through 8. High school students will not be using My Catholic Faith Delivered for their text or their catechetical content. They will have a physical text. Classes for high school students will be done every single week via Zoom. Classes will also begin the week of October 4th. We're going to be meeting every Tuesday. And I ask those who are enrolled in the high school class to please make sure to pick up their text before October 4th, so in this coming week. Please call me, though, before you come so that we can schedule a pickup time, as I'm not, at all times, I'm not able to receive visitors. Students will receive a topic calendar and will be expected to have read the materials before the weekly meeting. These calendars will also be posted on the Faith Formation website for reference. So the class session will consist of prayer, always prayer, assessment of the assigned material, and discussion and an application. So because we expect all students to be prepared to have done the reading, and the reading is not heavy reading, it's very short and very concise, we will assess, we'll make sure that they have read the materials before we can move on to the discussion and application. Really, when it comes to high school students, what we want to do is to engage them in a conversation, to show them, or maybe even to help them realize the way that they are already living this in their life, right? It's so important. Our faith formation, well, yes, it is learning about our faith. It has everything to do with how we live it, how we apply it to our lives, not just on Sundays, but every day. So this year, because we can't meet face-to-face, every grade will have a virtual meeting. For grades 1 through 8, they'll be meeting once a month virtually through Zoom. For high school class, it's every week. But I want to go over some quick etiquette with you guys. Cameras should always be on. It's so hard to have a conversation when you're staring at a black box. When students log on, they shouldn't have their full name visible. Instead, they should be identified by their initials. They should dress appropriately, so they shouldn't be in pajamas. Pajamas are not appropriate for a meeting, for a class meeting. If you're going to wear a hoodie, your hoods have to be down, no hats. Students should be somewhere quiet and with good internet connection, preferably indoors. They should be mindful of their surroundings. I hope that you keep beds out of view, made or unmade, but also make sure that the space that you're in is neat and it's not overly cluttered, because this can be very distracting to other users, to other classmates. Microphones should be muted when they're not speaking. They should identify themselves when they speak. If they're in younger grades, they should raise their hand just like they do in school, and they should speak loudly and clearly. Just like in school, there should be no eating during class. So there was no eating during virtual meetings. They're supposed to stay seated and present. They shouldn't be having side conversations or playing with their pets or checking their phones or getting up to use the bathroom. Bathrooms should be used before the meeting. So those in a sacramental year, those preparing to receive sacraments in this school year, in addition to their weekly faith formation classes, those in a sacramental year preparing for First Reconciliation, Confession, First Holy Communion, and Confirmation are required to attend proximate preparation sessions. These are basically 4 to 6 sessions that are mandated by the Diocese of Brooklyn and are supposed to assist those that are about to receive sacraments develop a deeper sense of meaning in that sacrament. So for more information on the goal of these, please visit the Faith Formation website. In the parent handbook, we have sacramental guidelines stated. Again, I don't have dates for these as of yet, but as soon as I do, I will communicate with them. I'll communicate them with you with enough time. Finally, our Faith Formation website. The web address is www.stawoodhavenff.org. And here you're going to find news and updates. So anything I send home via email, I'll also post on the website. So just in case you feel like you might have missed something or you didn't get an email, you can always find everything there. You'll find our faith formation calendar. You'll also find the class calendars. And these, some of these have been posted already. I'm still waiting on some catechists to send these to me. And so this coming week, you'll see those being added gradually to the faith formation website. Catechetical and faith-based videos and articles for both adults and children. So we've worked hard to kind of curate resources for you, right? Resources on the sacraments, on prayer, on scripture, on spirituality, to kind of help you and your family grow in faith together. There are literally hours of content on the Faith Formation website. You'll also find links to the St. Thomas Parish website and to the St. Thomas Catholic Academy website, should you be interested in that. So we're all set to begin on the week of October 4th. Please know the Faith Formation website will be updated this coming week with the following: a welcome message from our pastor, Father Tumino, a welcome message from our catechists, so that the students will get to know, even though we're not going to be meeting weekly face-to-face, they'll get to know who their teacher is. A class list will be posted so you know where your child is assigned and those class schedules. I will also be adding a video tutorial for parents on how to use the My Catholic Faith Delivered interface. This has been such a strange and trying year for all of us. So let's resolve to be patient with ourselves and ask God to help us, and then get to work. As always, please count on my prayers and support. I'm always happy to get phone calls and emails from interested parents. I hope to see you all soon. Stay safe.